with that, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Ebony.
Thank you, Liam. My name's Ebony and I'm a recovering drug addict. Raf, thank you so much. Thank you so much for asking me, Raf, and thank you all for being here and making it a meeting. Welcome if you're new. Welcome if you're back after a relapse, and just welcome. Like, it's probably very unlikely that you stumbled in here by accident tonight, you know, so the only requirement for membership is a desire to stop using, you know, and it's really important for me to say that out loud, because for so long that was all I could do. I had the desire but I could not stop, I just couldn't. So yeah, I'm a little bit anxious today, and I just went downstairs and had a little pray up. So I would like to invite a loving higher power into the room, and you're going to hear me use the word God, and I'm not sorry for that. Like, it's my understanding of what a higher power is for me, and the beautiful thing about Narcotics Anonymous is that it's a spiritual program. It's a God of your understanding, so your higher power can be whatever you want it to be, you know, and that's also important for me to say, because my relationship and my understanding of God or my higher power, it changes as I change. So yeah, I'm just learning this stuff still, you know. I was obsessing a little bit today because I've broken 2 of my nails, and I thought, oh, I'm going to share later. I don't know if I can go with 2 broken nails, you know. No, I know, but that's just my truth, yeah, that's what I was thinking. But I had to make a decision because I'm doing a lot of, it's an inside job for me, yeah, and I'm doing a lot of the internal work at the moment, and it's painful. And I had trauma therapy yesterday, and then today I went, I'm going to get choked up already, I went to a lake to burn a non-send letter. So I've written a letter to my daughter's dad, and my daughter's been in his care now for the last 5 years, you know, and I've written this letter and really poured my heart out in it. And yeah, I went to the lake today to burn it, so I had a decision to make. Do I go and get my nails done, or do I go and do this non-send letter? And I made a decision, and my decisions today are a lot more thought out. They're not so impulsive, they're not so like compulsive, instinctive, because I'm used to moving like that. So just the fact, like, it's something like the things that I seek now are in me, not on me, do you know? So yeah, I did that, and it was freeing, but it's emotional, and it's left me processing, and then I'm processing from therapy, and I'm processing from, you know, the things I talk about. I'm in a recovery house at the moment with other women, and it's a godsend, but what it does sometimes, it mirrors. So I might be feeling a certain way, or someone might mention something in a group, and it will trigger something in me. So even if I'm not speaking about it sometimes, if it's mentioned, I connect with it, even if my mouth ain't moving, and I struggle with those feelings and emotions. I'm a 40-year-old woman who has to use a feelings wheel, and to be able to connect with my emotions, because anger's the first one that I go to. I'm very comfortable there, and that's usually my secondary, or maybe even third feeling. But how I was brought up, anger was allowed to be expressed, you know. I was raised by addicts, lots of domestic violence, criminality was normality, the house getting spun and raided before I went to primary school in the morning, it was just normal. So my blueprint for life is a little bit, it was wired, and is. I can't change my blueprint, but what I can do is adapt how I respond and react to certain situations. So yeah, thank you for asking me to come and do a share on step 3. For me, step 3 is such a beautiful step, and I never understood none of this because I couldn't get a day clean. So I did the readings and I did bits and pieces, but I never had enough clean time to work the steps. No one could work with me, and I mean for a long time. Relapse is a big part of my story. Like, it was a running joke that I had more white key rings than I had teeth in my mouth. And you know what? It was, but I used humour as a defence mechanism because I was humiliated. I felt humiliated, I felt guilty, I felt ashamed, you know, that my children had been removed from my care, and like, I promised that I'd never turn out like the people that raised me, and I did, and worse. So yeah, there's a lot of there's underlying guilt and shame and distraction from what I'm really feeling by using humour or aggression or other things. So I think it's really important for me to say that out loud now, because I try not to wear masks to the best of my ability. And yeah, in regards to having my nails done, 11 months ago, my hands would have been sore, my thumbs sore where I was clipper lighter, and my hands would have been filthy where I'd been scraping out the pipe, and, you know, just, I weren't, it says in our literature, reduced to animal level, you know, and I really was. Someone that prided themselves at one point in presenting to the outside world, because my mum's a functioning dysfunctional alcoholic and my stepdad's a heroin addict, but to the outside world we presented so that people didn't really ask questions. People on the estate knew what was going on, but the school and stuff didn't get involved because it was presented, you know, we presented, you know, well. Obviously, if they'd have properly known what was going on behind closed doors, I definitely would have been removed from their care, 100%. Was really confusing growing up. You know, the domestic violence was very bad, to the point where my stepdad would be going to Belmarsh, and then next minute we'd be up there visiting on a VO, then he'd get out, they'd be back together, and then it would be the same thing again. We either had everything or we had nothing, because he'd steal everything and sell it. But he never put his hands on me, and I've got to say that. But my mum really did suffer, you know, like severely. And I'd use myself as a human shield sometimes, because that's the only way that the beatings would stop. And yeah, so my idea of what love and stuff was as well was really tainted. I thought it was passionate. We were passionate about each other, and we dragged each other about, and that's what happened. And we kissed and we made. It's really, and throughout my whole life, I've chosen men like that. And I've got to be honest, sometimes I've been a victim, and other times I've been the perpetrator. I can't sit here and go on like it was woe me, because I thought the way I was all up, if you want to call it that, it was an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, and it's a dog eat dog world, and I'll bite you first before you bark at me. And that's just how I was brought up. Like, that is normal to me. It was normal to me, sorry. But step 3, yeah, it says we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. And I got it mixed up a little bit at first, and I hear people sometimes getting it mixed up and saying, hand our will and our lives over. That's not what it says. It doesn't say that anywhere in our literature at all. Hand over is to, like, relinquish responsibility. Here, I give it to you now, you know. But to turn over is to employ a change in direction. And so I still have a responsibility within that, yeah? Like, I turn my will and my life over to employ a different direction to God, whether it's the gift of desperation, God, or for a group of drug addicts to help me, God, to receive, like, grace over destiny, God, like whatever little acronym or whatever it is that you can latch onto at first, that's fine. Like, it's between you and your higher power. It's not for anybody else to come and tell you about what you need to be connecting and attaching to. But for me, step 3 is an action step as well. So it is a case of having to, like, within that gift of desperation, to turn over, I have to employ spiritual principles within that, and they, for me, are acceptance, surrender, open-mindedness, willingness. And with these things, like, it's a good basis for me, it's a good start. It says it in the readings, honesty, open-mindedness and willingness, and with these we are well on our way, you know. And that was different for me, because the decisions that I made weren't positive ones, to be fair. It was, who can we rob? Who can we get ways and means for? Who can sort me out until blah blah comes through with that? Make me not go to prison. Yeah, just give me a blight this time, and I swear, you know, like, and yeah, I will. I won't use tomorrow. I was the addict that would say, like, I won't use any more today because I couldn't not use. Like, I didn't understand using against my will until I was on a methadone script, using someone else's methadone script and an IV user secretly. Crack cocaine is my drug of no choice. You know, I've danced with the devil so many times, and after I put that first one in me, I'm dancing for the devil, and I am dancing. I'm dancing my arse off, and I'll step over anyone to get what it was that I needed. And yeah, I couldn't get clean for my children. I couldn't get clean for myself. I just, you know, my best ideas, me making decisions, took me to rehab twice. And I didn't understand that I had to stop fighting. I thought, I just kept getting in this ring with the disease, weren't giving it its respect that it deserved, and thinking that some way I'll find a way to manage my drug use. If I don't do that, then I'll be all right. If I don't mess about with them, then I won't get into that. If I just use that, and I use that swapping, substituting one for the other, swapping environments, and the reality is I took myself with me everywhere I went, so there was carnage everywhere, you know. So yeah, making a decision, and it had to be a decision from me, but it had to be, I come in powerless, and I had to tap into something powerful. And for me, it was the rooms. Like I said, my higher power changes or my gratitude into what builds up, because I'm building a foundation and now I'm building bricks, yeah? Like, but whereas before I'd try and build the penthouse and the foundations are still rocky, you know? But I want that. I don't want to go through this process. I want now. And I'm having to learn that, you know, anything worth having is worth waiting for. And if it's going to be sustainable, because I can get it, but I can lose it. Whereas if I have a little bit more patience, use spiritual principles in what I'm doing, be honest, so people can meet me where I am honestly, and ask for help. I don't find that easy at all. I come from a place where to be vulnerable is not okay. You will really get yourself in trouble. So to ask for help, I'm like, no, I'm all right, I'm sweet. You're gonna want me, what do you want? What am I gonna have to give back to you? Because everything was transactional, everything. Like, I felt like even love was transactional. And I couldn't understand how God would love me still. Like, I've got abandonment and rejection issues from my own mum. So to feel that you're not loved, I feel a bit choked. To feel that you're not loved from the person that brought you into the world, it's hard to feel lovable anywhere else, because it's like, you know, it's the beginning, isn't it? Like, and I was speaking with someone outside, and I'm sure that she loved me in her own way, but it's like she did the best she could with what she had. But did she? But then to say that, like, how can I, like, because I pray for her every morning, my mum, and I pray that she'll find recovery, and I pray that I can find forgiveness, and that she can find forgiveness. And, but I'm kind of forgiving with conditions. And how dare I? Who am I? Like, to be judging her? I wouldn't want my children to forgive me with conditions. So I had to think about that. And it's because it's painful, you know, and then when I'm in that pain, I want you to bleed first, because I'm hurting, I want you to hurt. Thank you, Nick, acknowledge, thank you for your service. So yeah, I'm dealing with really painful things, like I was sexually abused as a child, I was neglected, there's so many things that happened to me for my start to be like, fucking hell. I thought, of course I use drugs. Of course I do. If you had a life like mine, you'd use drugs as well. Drugs were my solution to everything from 11 years old. And I'm 40, I had my 40th birthday in rehab, you know. And thank God, because if I was out here, I wouldn't have remembered it anyway, let's have it right. Like, I probably would have been nicked, or someone else would have been nicked, I would have had no money by the day after, all, you know. So, by the grace of God, because it is by God, my will, running on my will, gets me in a lot of trouble. I can be selfish, I can be self-centered, I can be, there's many defects, and like I said, I didn't think my defects were defects. They were assets for me when I was out there. They were assets, they kept me safe. But I'm trying to have a life now. I'm not trying to be in survival, you know. I've survived. I've survived all of that stuff. And now I'm trying to have a life, and I'm trying to break generational curses so that my son, because he's had to go through it with me, my son has been doing county lines since he was 14 years old. That's the reality. Not county lines for me, but me and his dad thought that we hid that stuff. Well, we didn't, you know. So he's been involved in the other side. His mum's scoring on one side of the estate. He's trapping on the other side of the estate. And I'm saying, don't bring the fucking parcel into the house. But where's the parcel? As soon as I find the parcel, parcel's gone. You know, that was the best I could be a mother at that point. Don't shit where you eat. You know, and today my son, since I went to rehab, I've got a grandson, and my son doesn't sell drugs anymore. He's got a little job at Ocado. I've just paid for his next 10 driving lessons. I haven't seen my daughter for 13 months, and I'll be spending Boxing Day with both of my children. My dad, you know, the man that tried to detox me in his bed from methadone, heroin, crack cocaine, pre-gabs, drink, everything. Man, he smokes a spliff, my dad, he's a Rasta like that, but he doesn't understand the disease of addiction. He looked me in the eye just before I went to rehab, and he said to me, that was the only time I looked at you and I couldn't see you. I'm an only child on both sides. They genuinely thought that they were going to be burying me. So, by the grace of God, that's not the case, and I will turn my will and my life over, because I've got a plan, but God's got a better one, and it doesn't all come as I want it, as quick as I want it, and the way that I want it, but maybe God's saving me from other certain situations that are not supposed to be for me. It's like, Ebony, I had to make you uncomfortable or you wouldn't move. Because I'm motivated by pain. I have to wait till it gets really painful, really horrible, and then I'll do something about it. And I'm not trying to be that person anymore. Like, I've had so much chaos in my life. Like, I crave peace and serenity. I crave the things that money cannot buy. You cannot put a price on it. Like, my son calls me about his mental health. I'm bipolar as well. I've got secondary and other things that I need outside help with, as well as an A, you know what I mean? I can't, and I accept that, that's fine. But with that, the foundation's growing sturdy, you know, and I get it wrong. I'm human, I'm going to get it wrong. People are going to let me down, I'm going to let people down, but God don't let me down. He's always there. And yeah, I can't even express the gratitude I have for Narcotics Anonymous, and I can't, because it was just people saying, keep coming back, Ev. Keep coming back. And no one else was telling me to come back. They were asking me to fucking get out, you know. And they meant it. We'll love you till you love yourself. And I can't sit here and say that I love myself today, but I can look you in your eye and say that I'm beginning to like the woman that I'm becoming. And just for today, that's enough. So yeah, thank you for allowing me to be of service. And yeah, to the newcomer, please keep coming back. Come back clean if you can. If you can't, just keep coming back. And to my predecessor, thank you for holding that torch and holding that candle lit for me to show me where to go in the dark. Like, I'm truly, truly grateful. My name's Ebony Amanade.
Go on, Gail.
Okay.